Hello and welcome to my first manga haul. And yeah, this will cover May and June's content of manga that I've bought, obtained, and stuff like that. So it's basically 2 months for the price of one. Anyway, so without further ado, let's just begin. And also, this is kind of my first time doing this and kind of my first video, so hopefully the audio here is not that great, but I'll just do my best, honestly. I can redo this, but I'll just mess it up either way. So yeah, first manga that I bought was Dr. Stone, Volume 21. I actually love this series, and I've already read volumes 1 to 20. I wanted to read this before doing it, but I didn't have enough time before I got the rest of the books that I ordered. But yeah, I actually really like Dr. Stone. Also, the main protagonist is basically how I want to live. He doesn't care about love, and mainly wants to do science. So yeah, I can relate to him a lot in that kind of regard. Anyways, with that done, let's just talk about the next. The next manga that I bought, which was Pokemon Journeys Volume 2. I've only seen the anime. I haven't read the manga yet. I do own Volume 1 as well. I want to read this. This is supposed to be an adaptation of the Pokemon anime into a manga form. The artist is really good. They also did a adaptation of the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie, to commemorate the 3D one that was released. And yeah, I actually think the artist is really good. Sadly, the manga ended with episode 62 of the anime, which is kind of sad, but also kind of good because the anime doesn't get better, trust me. So yeah, I'm excited to read it as soon as I can. I want to get all the volumes before starting to read it, because if I start reading volume 1 and 2, then wait until 3, and then wait until 4, I won't really get that much enjoyment out of it. Next manga, I've heard a lot of people talk good about it, and I actually want to start reading it soon, and that is Sakamoto Days. It looks so good. I actually want to start reading it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So yeah, I think I'll start reading it really soon. Hopefully by the time next manga haul happens, with volume 2 probably releasing eventually. Anyways, next manga that I bought was Koopa Won't Let Me Be Invincible, really. Invisible. I've also heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't started reading it yet. It seems like a really lighthearted comedy manga. And I'm kind of excited because I'm actually a really big fan of manga like Komi Can't Communicate, which is wholesome and basically it's basically just a wholesome experience in a manga form. So I'm kind of excited to start reading this. Maybe this will become in my top 10, like Komi became my 4th favorite anime manga of all time. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. I have nothing else to say because I haven't actually read it. Next is actually something I have read, that being A Galaxy Next Door. This is probably one of my favorite manga that I've started in recent times, as in currently ongoing. And yeah, just this manga is so good. To basically summarize the plot, it's basically a space alien woman wants to draw manga, so she leaves her planet after her grandma, who inspires her to draw, passes away, and she meets up with this guy who mainly did shonen manga but failed at that. And when he starts doing shoujo manga, he actually gets a success with that. And this girl becomes the assistant, the alien girl, whatever you want to call her. And it basically becomes into a romance plot. However, the romance actually is really fast, because I think within this volume they go on to they actually go on to confess. Sorry for spoiling. But yeah. It's actually really good, and it doesn't feel like, oh, you have to wait until so many chapters to see romance plot advancing. No, it is genuine romance that just develops immediately. And I could not recommend it, even though I just spoiled it for you guys. Read it, please. You can find it online. I think only 9 chapters are available online via certain methods. I won't spoil myself. I won't reveal. And I think this covers, the first volume covers. Wait, actually, let me look. Whatever. I think it's 5 chapters. I wanted to look just to check. It's like 4 or 5 chapters. Anyways, the next 2 books that I bought was volume 19 and 18 of Komi. This series is goated. Honestly, it's my 4th favorite anime/manga series of all time. I think like the only things that have beaten it is Berserk, Vinland Saga, and Doctor Stone. Honestly, what I really love about this series is how it develops a character with like social anxiety and stuff like that, and how like wholesome and genuine it feels. Sure, if you're there for the romance, it will feel kind of weak, but yeah. Sorry about that. But like the story about her and her basically like getting to her goal of having 100 friends, it's so interesting. It's still ongoing, and I would recommend it. I think we're on like chapter 360, something like that. I'm actually caught up with the manga itself, like digital and stuff like that. But I always love to keep getting the new volumes because it's actually so good to reread. And it also, as a person who's dyslexic, yeah, I'm dyslexic and I read manga, so what? It actually is really easy to read because they really go for like a minimalist with the dialogue in the series, and that's like so commendable because there's always these mangas that are like, oh, over explain this, over explain that, but like Komi it just explains it in like short or like facial expressions or just how the character acts. It's actually so good, and it's probably one of, if you are a lot like me and are dyslexic but want to get into manga, I would recommend Komi. Anyways, we got volume 10 and 11 of Chainsaw Man. Part 2 is coming out in like 2 weeks and stuff like that. And I actually want to reread it. And now that I have all the current manga chapters, all the manga volumes, I also have 1 to 9. But I actually want to reread this before part 2 comes out. Sorry, I'm kind of horrible at communication, but yeah, I'm excited to reread this. I've actually read this before when like volume 1 was the only thing that released. I read everything digitally, and yeah, I'm kind of excited to just reread this and just for part 2 generally. We'll also probably get some news on the anime soon. So yeah, anyways, now those were all the current newly releases that I got for the last 2 months. Now on to stuff that are a bit older that I've just gotten to buying. First, I actually got volume 1 of Hell's Paradise. I actually already had volume 2, and I did buy volume 1. However, this was back when I used Book Depository to buy. Book Depository is not that great if you're Scandinavian like me, because I've had so many issues with Book Depository and like actually having them send the books and stuff like that. I think it took me like 6 months in order to like confirm a purchase of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, just for them to be like, hey, it's cancelled. So I just basically had to like wait 6 months for Jujutsu Kaisen 0's manga in order for them to say, hey, it's on its way. And they're like, nah, we canceled it. I've stopped buying from Book Depository. So I just bought this from a different place, and yeah, I'm excited to read this. I haven't read volume 1 or 2 yet, but I'll get to it. And then we have Berserk, the Flame Dragon Knight. Now you might be wondering, why the hell did you buy it? Why did you buy a light novel? You're dyslexic. You already said it before, but it's Berserk. I want to actually try to read a light novel, and I want to begin with something that I really enjoy. So Berserk is probably going to be the first time I ever read a light novel. I'll get to reading it as soon as I can. I just want to have like enough preparation to read something that is just entirely text and nothing to have visuals, because as a dyslexic person, visuals actually help a lot to understand what the texts are saying. But yeah, they have some illustrations, but it's mainly text. So yeah. Now on to the entirely new series that was added to my collection. So first of all, we have volume 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of Pluto by Naoki Urasawa. I still haven't gotten volume 1. That's the one book that I still have purchased but hasn't come. Actually, I originally bought 8 and 1 together, but something happened and my order for Volume 1 was cancelled, so I had to repurchase it, and yeah. I want to wait until I get a Volume 1 to start reading it, but yeah. It seems really good. It's by Naoki Urasawa, who's the guy who made Monster and 20th Century Boys. Actually, I've only watched 12 episodes of the Monster anime, so I haven't read anything of manga-wise from him, but as soon as I get Volume 1, I'll begin Pluto. I swear to God, I will. And I think in like a few days, I'll actually get Volume 1. So I think Pluto and Chainsaw Man are going to be the next two mangas I'm going to be starting intensely reading. And anyways, we're on to our last part of the video. The last entire series that I bought. And some of you might not actually believe what I actually got. I didn't buy this on like a usual digital website. I actually bought this on a market site. I was able to get volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of Death Note. Yeah. Somebody was selling the entire series for genuinely cheaper than you would normally get it. I'm like, bro, are they still available? And the dude was like, yeah, brother. So, yeah, I basically bought it, and now on it. I want to get to reading this. I said this with all the manga that I get, but yeah, I've only watched the anime, so reading the manga will be pretty interesting. And I want to get more of these Shonen Jump advanced titles because they seem so interesting. I've been considering getting Claymore as my next one, but I'll have to see. I'll be going on a trip with a friend to a manga store soon, so my next manga haul will mainly be stuff that I bought from there, and maybe extra stuff. I don't know. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my manga haul video. This will be my first ever one, and a great way to experience how it is showing off what I bought. Let me know what you think in the comments, and any recommendations you guys have of where I should buy. And if you're Scandinavian like me, do you have any sites to recommend? I already have some of my own, but I always like recommendations. So yeah, see you guys soon. Bye bye.